It's time for us to go down the rabbit hole. To find out very real and accurate information from everyone's favorite YouTube crank, Spirit Science. 20 subs to make this stop and do
Today
analog
we bear
horror
witness
instead.
to a time never before seen in history. The rapid increase of technological development has brought new levels of global interconnectedness to nearly all.
You should do a stream where you react to a movie but not show the movie then never talk about it lol oh I'm high.
I have thought about doing that unironically. Like doing a live commentary recording. That could be fun. That could be really, really fun. I think I'll do that with Star Trek Into Darkness. Because I hate that movie with a passion that is difficult for me to capture outside of ranting about it in the moment. Oh, no. CN, Monument Mythos is amazing. It's like if you combined eldritch horror with American history, and it's so much fun. Most of it is making fun of America. What was Star Trek Into Darkness about? It was basically doing Wrath of Khan again, but worse in every conceivable way. Dylan, I agree with you with one exception, okay? I think he does... the one thing J.J. Abrams does well... The one thing he does well is, like, recapture and repackage nostalgia. So, like, there are moments in, like, the first rebooted Star Trek that are fun. Or, like, moments in the rebooted Star Wars in Episode 7 that are fun, you know? But, like, it's not great. But Will Kale, here's the thing. I love the third Star Trek movie. I love Star Trek Beyond. I love Star Trek Beyond. Star Trek Beyond is really fun. But Star Trek Into Darkness is like one of the worst movies I've ever seen in a theater. Like the first one, the Star Trek reboot, it's all right. It has its moments, but man, Star Trek Beyond is actually like a Star Trek movie to me, you know. Sean Smith. I am a massage therapist. This spirit science community swarmed me like gnats at a picnic. Oh, you poor sweet lad. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that you know about this just offhand. Man. I didn't know it was like such a thing in the massage community. But yeah, I love Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan a lot. And Star Trek Into Darkness is just so stupid. It's so stupid. It's so stupid. God. All right.
It could be said that we are living in the most amazing period in recorded history. But even if that's true, most do not recognize it, living instead in a bubble of their own minds.
Okay, but even if we lived in the most amazing time of human history, what is amazing is subjective. So that means nothing. That doesn't mean anything.
The past and the future exist in a continuum, dynamically affecting each other through the lens of the present. While our material bodies only move forward in time, the particles and waves underlying the fabric of reality move non-linearly and can travel forwards or backwards in time. It is through the act of remembering our past and dreaming our future that we too move through past and future states within our consciousness.
To be clear, this video is called "Everyone Should Watch This," and it has an image of like going down the rabbit hole. And so far, this is what we've got. Everyone needs to watch this, which is mindless and absolutely insane.
Many believe today that the past has very little bearing on who we are today, that old traditions, such as those of ancient religions, are no longer needed. But if we forsake where we came from, we will fail to learn the important lessons that history provides. Were one to look closely at the great cycles that humanity has evolved through, we would find a foundation upon which our very society today still upholds. In ancient
yes, as you all know, our entire society, our entire global civilization is built upon the pyramids of Giza.
Sumeria, the 24-hour clock was established, still used to this day. And through biblical times, fundamental laws and principles of righteousness were established which are still greatly honored in present society. The burning of oil to light a lamp led to the burning of oil for an engine. And cars are often...
This is indeed spirit science. Yes. You're just describing how time works. You're describing how learning and time work in conjunction. You know, this is like, it's so incredible how we stub our toe and then we learn to lift our foot a little bit high. Like, come on now. He upped his game. Did he? Did he really? Because this is just stock footage and gobbledygook.
Often measured in horsepower, a term derived from quite literally the amount of power one horse could provide. From the refinement of our understanding, new tools, systems, and ways of being are developed which shape who we become. But we walk a very fine line today. Through the very technology we've created and the way in which we orient ourselves in society, we find ourselves in traps of delusion, which keep us focused on a limited set of criteria that we believe if we attain, we will find happiness. Yet such traps perpetuate an idea which roots deep within the psyche, festering misery and suffering that if left unresolved, will cause each to miss the forest from the trees as far as the meaning of life is concerned. The challenge at its root is actually a very simple one. We must learn to reconcile duality against wholeness.
I just want to really translate real quickly what he just said. Basically, he said the world is a materialist trap because you need stuff, and that stuff can blind you to the true wonder of reality. And like, all this guy has are meaningless platitudes, stock footage, and the occasional bit of animation. And he literally, like, he thinks he's like Jesus Christ.
Which is performed by one's ability to reconcile paradox within. When one can reconcile paradox, they can overcome any duality which causes division and penetrate...
I would do that one-hand wonder, but I don't have alcohol on me. I'm sorry.
...into the source field from which all things arise. It must be understood that at the fundamental levels of reality, all...
Wait, I'm sorry, the what? The source
duality,
field?
Which causes division and penetrate into the source field from which all things arise. It must be understood that at the fundamental levels of reality, all things exist in a dynamic...
Did this motherfucker just like reinvent the Force with extra steps? Except instead of calling it the Force, because he doesn't want to be sued by Disney, he's calling it the Source. Oh.
Interconnected unity that breathes life into the multiplicity of creation. This unity has been called God or Spirit, an apt term considering spirit means animating principle, and therein scientifically speaks to this source as a place through which the material reality is animated, or through which...
yes, as we all know, spirit scientifically means anything.
Life energy is breathed into that which lives. But how does a dynamic...
Jack, you don't understand. They've channeled Thoth. They aren't messing around. These aren't meaningless platitudes. They're platitudes from Thoth, which makes them automatically true, because Thoth wouldn't lie. True.
interconnected unity give rise
This channel has almost 1.4 million people that follow it, and like this guy is spouting pure gibberish.
to the multiplicity of creation that we find ourselves in today,
Hey,
where
Antoine.
everything appears as separate and divisible. The answer is simple. It is through our very perception itself. Today, division reigns supreme. Families are divided amongst themselves. Countries are at war with each other, and other countries are at war with their own people. Where
This
some
is
oppress their
insane,
people openly,
dude.
others manipulate their people in secret. It is through our perception
This
of
guy
disconnectedness
absolutely had a
which
sex
allows
cult.
such distortions to permeate society. For if we truly perceived such unity, we would never seek to betray or take advantage of our brothers and sisters for our own gain, and we would certainly nurture and
Yeah, no one would ever do that. Lie. Yep.
honor our planet and be responsible stewards of creation. Paradox is reconciled in our ability to hold multiple contradictory ideas in our minds at the same time and weigh them against the truth of our own
That's his way of saying if none of this makes sense, that's just because you haven't elevated your mind to my level yet.
conscience, unbiased by our own selfish desire to be right. When each of us do this, we realize that opposing ideas are often two ends of a polarizing spectrum and are
I
not
hope
as
so,
far
Amber.
from each other
I
as
hope
we
so.
think. It is only then that we can speak from truth, having compassion on others for their perspectives and not from the limitation of our own
I am
ego's
high right
ideal.
now, and this doesn't even make sense to me.
True. Also, I wish I was high right now. Also, we are now 1/10 of the way to doing more analog horror. Thank you very much for your contribution, Catalina Gearbox.
And so, the goal must ultimately be to create a bridge between the awareness of the
My rear end, you don't understand. You don't understand. He's tapping into the source, okay? He's using his source on us right now. He's saying bullshit. Absolutely, everything that he's saying is bullshit. This is correct.
fundamental dynamic unity and the division that humanity finds itself in today. If we are to collectively find a place of peace among all people, we must be willing to ask and explore the meaning of truth with a capital T. Without a metric by which we might identify truth, each individual would be subject.
Oh, this man breaks my brain. Like this, I feel like I'm being indoctrinated into a cult every single time I watch these videos. Like they like Clockwork Orange you. Oh my god, dude. Black Sheep Collective, thank you very much for subscribing with Prime over on Twitch. And now we got 3 out of 20 to watch some more analog horror. What the fuck is dynamic unity? Nothing. It doesn't mean anything. None of it means anything. He's pulling words out of his ass. And honestly, at this point, he's probably just running it through an AI algorithm. He's probably trained an AI to like language model to like regurgitate his incomprehensible gibberish. And honestly, the AI would probably make way more sense.
To describe truth by their own accord. But one subjective truth is another's lie. While some are willing to have respectful debates to the nature of what is authentically real, many are more inclined to bury themselves in their personal belief, creating an echo chamber of perspective rather than
Yeah. If you disagree with me, you're just rejecting the real truth. Come on, dude. Someone's subjective truth might be to another a subjective untruth. Like, yeah, but then you're talking about objective reality, which is objective. There are two words, subjective and objective. They mean two different things, and you're just conflating them. It's very bizarre.
And exploring ideas other than their own.
You don't believe this? Nah, I think it might be
with
a lie.
Capital T must be understood as a concept, not a thing. The word itself.
No one thinks that there's a physical object called truth, dog. No one think. Of course, truth is a concept. It's referring to ideas. Oh, no.
Comes from the etymological root deru, meaning
Capital
be firm,
T for
solid,
thought.
or steadfast, and from which we find the same root of words, such as durable.
Oh, no. Sean Smith. I haven't listened to that episode of Behind the Bastards, but one, great show. And two, yeah, no, this is like the kind of guy that is like straight from like, Yoga Bunny to like crystal fascist, like this is like almost textbook, like how they get you from just being like, oh yeah, I like the vibes, I like that pretty crystal, to like a goose-stepping fascist who's just really into new age mysticism,
Duration, endure, shelter, tree, truce, and trust.
Oh, I see this. Betroth, more like be-thoth. Got him.
It is also related to the Hindu concept of dharma, which is the upholding or eternal principles upon which all of reality is based. It can be said that truth with a capital T is
my food just got here. I'll be right back. BRB. Oof. I return. Taco Bell. I'm gonna eat it while I watch this video so that I stop getting a headache.
Word which indicates that which is eternal, while all of the material and corporeal reality is finite and subject to change. In this way, truth may be likened in principle to the center of a wheel that is spinning, while the outside of the wheel represents corporeal reality or subjective truths, which are
You don't have to. This is not at all complicated. Why are you using the most convoluted analogy possible? Come on, dude. The Thick Lifter, hi. Welcome.
constantly rotating through their cycles.
Is this spirit science? It's absolutely spirit science. And if any of you take this seriously or think that this has some interesting ideas, y'all need to check yourself into an asylum, all right? Just for a little bit.
The center of the wheel does not move at all, but exists free of all motion, yet is the place from which the rotation of the wheel arises. In the same way, the eternal spirit underlying creation is unmoving, infinite, and eternal, and from it arises all of the changing material reality. In life, each person has their own subjective truth, their own perspective. A perspective is the filter through which each individual views reality and is afforded through the unique interplay of life experiences and interpretations. The attitudes and habits we form.
But all motion is relative? Not in spirit science world. That sounds like a subjective truth. Jesus Christ. I'm so sorry I'm subjecting you all to this bullshit. God. This guy's got wheels spinning his head. Yeah, and they're going nowhere.
Ultimately create a filter through which we view reality. What one considers true might not be true for someone else who sees life through a different lens. Where one prefers the left, another may prefer the right. Such perspectives are not absolute truths, but subjective to the individual who believes them. As humanity probes even deeper into the nature of reality, we are brought closer to capital T truth. For instance, the truth about the nature of electromagnetism was not discovered until the 1800s, but the laws of electromagnetism have certainly existed since the dawn of time, irrespective of our awareness of them. Yet, once this essential truth was grasped, it changed our experience of reality fundamentally and afforded new experiences of life. Without knowledge of electromagnetism, we wouldn't have computers, TVs, radios, and so on. Though certainly, when the idea was first proposed, it was laughed at by those who couldn't fathom the concept of an invisible field.
As you can see, this thing that wound up being true was laughed at. Ergo, if you're laughing at my idea, it must be true.
Permeating reality. In the same way, emerging ideas about the nature of consciousness and how life is steered by thought and feeling are also mocked, but knowledge of our interconnected nature is becoming known, and one day the telepathic connections we share with each other will become commonplace throughout all of society.
What telepathic connections? Say what? I hate how he's talking about that like that's an established fact that we have telepathic connections with each other. We absolutely don't. What the hell? Come on.
Alongside the development of technology, we must also adopt higher moral standards with greater responsibility towards each other and the life that we lead. As we discover and gain control over atomic forces, we must be willing to use them for harmonious means, in benefit and service to all, rather than our own selfish wants and desires, which is sure to lead to destruction. The higher path is the one which allows for an acknowledgement of both personal and subjective truths, but also yields to a greater truth as it arises, even if it is uncomfortable to humble oneself that we were previously wrong.
Oh, and Beata. This guy has so much deep lore, it's ridiculous. He has a 5-part movie series about his deep lore. So yeah, we watched one of them at one point.
We find the same understanding present in the time-honored spiritual traditions of the past, whether it be the teachings of Jesus Christ, of Krishna, of Buddha, or even the Tao, which all teach virtue, love, and compassion towards all. The deeper we go into understanding not just the science, but the intrinsic moral responsibility that comes with having such sciences, we reconcile the ancient historical spiritual doctrines with our modern view. But if we hate others and attack those or mock those with difference of opinions, we only perpetuate limited perspectives that keep humanity groping in the dark.
I'm really tempted to just skip the rest of this and go straight to one of the lore videos that he put out. That could be really fun. X-Men are coming? True. They're coming up next.
If we choose instead to be guided well by good leadership and inform ourselves by appropriate social spiritual standards, humanity will learn to deal fairly with one another, without the violence or hate in their hearts, and life on Earth will become a fun reality for all, with less suffering and better systems for living together in peace. And so, in support of this endeavor, a question we might ask is this: what is reality?
We're 11 minutes into this video.
Etymologically, the word itself means actually existing, having physical existence, or not imaginary. It is interesting that this specifies not imaginary, for by that standard, are thoughts or beliefs considered to be real? Beliefs may be understood as synaptic.
Oh yeah, dog. Yeah, time to go full solipsist. Let's go. Let's go. You're a brain in a jar.
Pathways that are entrained within us that thoughts flow through consistently. But are such pathways real? When we think a thought or use our imagination, our mental synapses fire, and those electrical signals can be measured. But therein, is the firing real, but the thought itself unreal? Or, if they are real, where are they real? When we consider the dynamic unity in the substructure of reality, we might consider that thoughts and feelings are real, but exist in different dimensions or areas of our body of consciousness, some of which are more isolated within us, and others that permeate into the outward matrix which is shared by all. This then does not invalidate one's inner experiences, even if they are untrue or delusive by nature, but affords each individual with the opportunity to hold their ideals within themselves and reconcile it naturally against the outer perspectives that they have. Each and every person has a part to play in the great unfolding of the human story. But if we fail...
You all understand this is insane, right? He's cooking crack. Please, I need you all to know. I need to know. You guys know he's insane, right? I'm the only being in existence. That's unironically like the one of the conclusions you could come to based on what he's talking about.
To play our part, we will continually perpetuate the great delusion of the world. But if we free ourselves of our personal delusions,
No, and Beata, if this guy gives you Scientology vibes, that's good. It means you can 100% tell what he's trying to do, which is continue building his cult. He's unironically, like, this is cult propaganda. Like, this is a cult. He's scamming people.
we help the whole world to wake up all the more and realize just how amazing life really is.
And
at the end of the day, the matrix of reality is one wherein each soul may perceive life in their own way.
This isn't how the Borg are born. The Borg are hyper advanced digital beings, okay? They actually operate along lines of logic, which is something this guy is completely incapable of doing. Also, we are now 4 subs out of 20 to get to more analog horror. We need 16 more. I think we can do it. Hiccup.
One can float through life following the same patterns they've always had, or may attempt to break free of the illusion, and that path is up to each to decide for themselves. Such
By the way, this guy thinks that the Jews came from space, like unironically. Unironically.
illusions are perpetuated by mental, spiritual, and physical poisons, and these can be identified simply. Mental poison traps include belief systems about one's purpose and place in life.
Who is this knob? This knob is a 1.4 million strong YouTuber who goes by Spirit Science. He has 1.4 million subscribers. Oh yeah, we'll get. After we finish this, we're gonna go into like one of his lore videos to hopefully give you like an overview.
That we must live out our days doing work that we don't like, with people we don't fully get along with, engaging
this problem you're describing is capitalism.
in activities that are not fun for us, and so on. These are limiting beliefs about who we are and what our place in life is. Spiritual traps stem from the disconnection with our soul. Spirituality must be understood as union with the vitalizing
guys,
essence.
He has 1.38 million subscribers. This video we're watching has like over a quarter of a million views. Like, people watch his videos, and it's insane. This is giving Thetans. Yeah, your Thetans readings are off the chart. You'll never go clear at this rate.
Through which our consciousness engages with mind and body. And that while many religions
we are
serve to
16
support the
subs
union
away
with that
from
connection,
analog horror.
the business of religion also often takes people away from their own innate.
No, this is not analog horror. This is just the horror of reality. This is unfortunately real and not something someone made for fun.
Connection with God, which may also be experienced as unity with the source field from which all things arise at the fundamental levels of reality.
Yeah, so again, he watched Star Wars and was like, ah yes, I'll have my own version of the Force called the Source.
Physical traps include everything that keeps our focus and attention only on that which can be felt or known through the 5 senses, and often disconnect us from seeking
Does he mean space-time? No, he does not.
Any inner harmony beyond that. This includes heavily processed and refined foods which have no nutritional value. Addictive.
Yeah, you heard it here first, folks. If you eat a cheeseburger or, God forbid, Taco Bell, that's keeping you further from God.
Substances such as sugar, caffeine, and alcohol, which keeps people in a perpetual state of mental fog, especially when overused, relying on the kick they provide to get people through their daily grind.
It's chow.
Did you know that most coffee has mold in it? Very few people do. And that
dude goes from talking about the existential questions of the universe with like 15 minutes of gobbledygook, and then it's like, did you know that coffee has mold in it? Are you kidding me? Coffee has mold in it. That keeps you further from accessing your full source potential. All of your source powers are locked behind the coffee mold. Don't tell this guy what penicillin is. Oh.
That also is an inner poison, along with all of the pesticides and herbicides in almost all of the produce that we eat. The attachment to living out our days in the exact same way is also oriented around the necessities to survive, food, money, sex, and these such things.
Do you
Important to
think
be
it's open
sure,
source?
yet if our reality is only oriented to these alone, we miss the opportunity to aim for and receive anything greater, such as knowledge and wisdom of the nature of the soul and the hidden mysteries of life itself. To become fully clear of the addiction to material reality is not an easy task, and so it is often easier for
Yeah, it's true. We're all addicted to material reality, almost like we rely on material reality in order to not die. Oh, you can't live without material reality? Mm-hmm. Junkie.
an individual to ignore the damage such thinking causes and to simply float through their illusion as best as they can. Yet, one who is deeply engrossed in such addictions and cannot easily break free.
Okay, just real quick, what is happening? What is happening in this stock video? Right? This is stock footage, right? What is happening here? Like this is stock footage. And
And to simply float through their illusion as best as they can. Yet, one who is deeply engrossed in such addictions and cannot easily.
what the fuck is that?
Yet, one who is.
They're all having sex as this man? I that doesn't make sense to me. I'm sorry. Yeah, wait. Is this guy frozen? Is this like a cryopod? What's happening here? Jesus Christ, dude.
Deeply engrossed in such addictions and cannot easily break free deserves not condemnation but compassion. It is not their fault that they find themselves in such a state. The system they find themselves in was designed to be entrapping, and the act of breaking free is the moving of one's frame of reference from a state of individual focus and behaving responsibly and appropriately in relationship to that which is going on around oneself. To the old paradigm of thinking, there is always something going on, something that must be done, or somewhere we have to be. But where are we going? Where does it end? What is the purpose?
You know, I do ask all three of those questions specifically about this video. I've been asking them the entire time.
Of the journey we're on? When we're on our last several breaths of life, will we look back, feeling completely fulfilled for the life that we experienced? Or will we be filled with regret, lamenting how much time we wasted? When we are able to see ourselves for what we are, humanity is recognized as a delicate creature, multifaceted with brilliance and suffering all at the same time. It is okay that we are this way,
means
for it is through our
anything.
duality that we can recognize the unity at greater depth, and the miracle of doing so is far more meaningful than it otherwise would be if we didn't know such a depth of pain. While so many feel alone and uncertain about themselves and their place in the world, others are running as fast as they can towards the goal of their imagined future. And while some are imbued with purpose of heart,
it's gonna. We have 8 more minutes of this. This is. I'm struggling so hard right now, chat.
others are blinded by the illusion of their wants, thinking them to be needs. And from a state of attachments, there today has grown so much
Yeah,
mistrust
dog, you just
between
want
family
air.
and
You don't
community,
need air.
between the leadership and the led. It doesn't have to be this way, and it won't always. Humanity cannot help but to awaken to the truth of its nature, even if it takes a long time. It has been said,
Oh, Coconut Julius. Coconuts. You nailed it. This guy just bullshit high school essays and then continued doing that on YouTube for the rest of his life. Oh god. Oh god.
Life is but a dream. When one knows that they're dreaming, we can each dream a life worth living.
Oh my god.
As a
dude.
game is entertainment to us, life is a game to spirit. But it's not as though this game doesn't have an ending, or a moral to the story,
I
or a
hate
supreme
this.
goal that we may all strive for. In order to get what we need in life, we have to be honest with ourselves and those closest to us.
Yeah, we have to be honest with ourselves, but apparently not not brief.
Those who need rest should take the time they need to rest, and those who are passionate and motivated to work should work. Those who are toxic should aim to be purified, and those who are pure can set an example for the rest. We find our
I'm sorry. Did he take the Dark Sun from Dark Souls 3? Is that the am I crazy? Am I crazy? Because that looks exactly like it. I don't want to download it. I just want to open it in a new tab. Throw it up on screen. So there you go. Here. That looks exactly like it. All right, anyway.
Those who are pure can set an example for the rest. We find our place and purpose in life when we slow down and become still. Slowing down affords awareness of the multidimensional energetic reality matrix that we exist within, and even affords a passage.
It's good that in the interdimensional energy matrix that we all exist in, I'll still have boobs in the multiverse. My multiversal titties will go on.
Way out into that which exists beyond what we can see and touch. While this cosmic essence of spirit underlies all things, our body of consciousness is built on layers upon layers upon layers of personality, societal structures, ego programming, habits, and dogmas. When it is understood who we truly are, we realize we can do anything. Human beings are genuinely limitless, and we are imbued from within by the same limitless
We're human beings, genuinely limitless. Unless we eat McDonald's, in which case you got limits, buddy.
source from which all arises. A peaceful state of being begets a peaceful reality. An active state of mind produces an active reality. An adventurous consciousness produces an adventurous reality. We must ask ourselves, what do we want most? Oftentimes, we don't know what we want until we lose it, and doing so teaches us.
What is this stock footage, dude? Sometimes we genuinely don't know what we want. Stock footage of young girl who desperately wants to be saved from a fire.
Us how to cherish that which we have. Yet at the end of the day, everything we have in life is
He did used to
temporary.
pitch up his voice.
We come here with nothing and leave it all behind when we go. And so all things in the material world are afforded as things to be used and enjoyed for a time, but not to be taken with us. It is the same as when playing
Getting flashbacks to college where my team didn't prepare for our presentation, we just bullshitted. Oh no.
a video game. The character we play as uses items along the way, But when we put the game down,
What?
those items remain in the virtual world.
What? Oh god. I love it. I love this. This is amazing.
Not to be taken with us. It is the same as when playing a video game. The character we play as uses items along the way, but when we put the game down, those items remain in the virtual world. It is the little things that matter the most.
What was he playing? I think it was just stock footage of a video game. Video games now? Look, guys. If you focus on the material world, it's like collecting 99 basic potions in a Final Fantasy game. You know you're never going to use those. Did you know there was a man who was able to pick back up the game of life?
Acts of kindness, showing up for one's brothers and sisters.
I feel like at some point he's just going to be like, are you familiar with the tale of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Living out the higher will of that which is alive within us to do. Let us not be NPCs of the Matrix, non-player characters, but awakened characters playing in the game of life, that may a new door be opened and a higher pathway be walked. May we set our sights on something.
May you slide down the warp pipe of righteousness and play the magical flute of Source. And make your way to the 8th level of the reality matrix.
Greater, that which is enduring and lasts eternally, that which is true. The heavy serves as the root of the light. If we want a light-hearted and joyous reality, we must honor that which exists deep in the roots and foundations of society and even reality itself, and within our own being. The time is coming when each of us will have to make a choice. Choose truth. Choose love. Choose to embrace the mystery of life, and do not turn away from the awakening journey.
Okay, video done, right?
Thank you so much for watching this video. Everything that you just saw really reflects a great deal of internal transformation and changes that have taken place over the last few years, as I found myself going within and really becoming reoriented to a new understanding of
While
reality.
you guys listen to him,
and in doing
here's
so,
his store.
creating a new trajectory as to where it is that spirit science is even going at all. When spirit science first started out, it
Want
was
to buy a
kind of like this
$100 shirt?
exploratory ship. You know, I had created a little boat with a light on it and set off into the wilderness, just exploring ideas and making videos about the things that I was interested in learning. Along that journey, many people saw that light on that boat and came on board. And Spirit...
Oh shit, guys. You can save $13 right now on your very own copy of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth the Atlantean, Aquarian Edition. Oh my god. One of the most thought after copies of the book. I'm sorry. Oh god. Oh yeah, do you guys want a $75 spirit science yoga mat? Oh my god, dude. How much is this almanac? It's $27. Ooh la la. All right.
Science transformed from being a little boat to a really big ship. And that comes with a lot of responsibility when so many people
If he
are
makes his own
looking to
custom
you for
Stanley, I want them.
guidance and understanding about the nature of reality. It was very overwhelming at times. I would get so many emails of people asking me for spiritual advice or asking me to interpret their dreams for them. And I definitely didn't feel like I was qualified or the right person to be able to answer those kinds of questions. And so I did my best over the last 12 years of making spirit science, trying to come to understand what even is spirit science. Can one measure the infinite spirit from which everything comes? And is there a way that we can scientifically deduce a pure understanding, a perfect
If you've been wondering that the entire time, why the fuck did you name your channel Spirit Science?
understanding of how everything works? And spirit science therein is not just about understanding dimensions or chakras or things of this nature, but the science of...
I'm sorry, I'm fascinated by both this little gnome behind him as well as the what appears to be a Lego architecture set. I just all right.
dimensions or chakras or things of this nature, but the science of self-mastery, the science of meditation and prayer, and how to go within and navigate these internal realms and transcend all of the limits of the human body and the attachments that come with being in a material, corporeal form. After all, as many people like to say, we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And so spirit science is transforming in a really beautiful way. We've got so much planned, and the last few years has been a bit of a hiatus as we went through some big challenges personally and professionally that led to it being very difficult to make a lot of content.
Yeah, it made it pretty difficult to make content when you were yeah, made it a bit difficult to record and make content while you admitted to doing a rape while you were being recorded. Yes, I imagine that would make doing your job a lot harder. Anyway.
Content. But that doesn't change the fact that we never stopped caring and never stopped wanting to be in service to humanity in the greatest possible way. And so for all of this, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your patience and your support throughout all of the years. I don't know that this work would have continued without your support.
Wait, for real? Yeah, he's a cult leader. He's a cult leader, guys. And I guess he's like somehow related to this lady who goes by Teal Swan. And yeah. she's cuckoo bananas. Yeah. Anyway.
And even sometimes just words of encouragement has really gone a long way. And so with all of that...
No, I think she's like the person he took notes from. I don't know, it's a whole thing.
I'd like to also extend a special invitation. The last few years, inside of our community network, once called Spirit Mysteries, now called Spirit Verse, and which will soon transform into the Spirit Science Academy, we have been doing our best to host and facilitate
courses?
workshops and create a personal place where everyone could come and share on their spiritual journey together, free of judgment or dogma, but openly explore that which their soul calls most for them to learn. And once more, we are opening the doors to the Spiritverse and invite anyone who wants to come and participate in weekly accountability circles, meditations, or wisdom workshops, and I do so very much hope to see you there. Humanity is amazing, and most people are not aware of just how special and powerful they truly are. And so thank you again for staying tuned all these years. Or if you're a new subscriber, welcome. And I do hope to see you in the next video and in our Spiritverse community. Thanks.
That was awful. This man's terrible, and I hate him. I hate him so much. Like, not in like a... I clearly I don't know anything. I don't know him personally, but like literally everything. Like this entire cult thing, the the sexual assault. Yeah, I'm just not a fan. Not a fan. Let's see. Let's watch the just real quick. I hope there's like a short thing to go through. I want to know, like, I want like a short primer on what he thinks the universe is like to show you guys. Okay. Oh, good. He has a video on vaccines from 2 years ago. Cool. The secrets of DMT, the spirit molecule. Prosperity affirmations? Jesus Christ. Maybe we just have to go to the Anunnaki video. Guess we're gonna do that. He did an hour-long breakdown of his interpretation of Lord of the Rings. I'm not going to lie. I am insanely tempted to watch this. I'm insanely tempted to watch his breakdown of Lord of the Rings, man. Oh, God. Does Lotor have a religion? I mean, it has a religion insofar as, like, in universe, like, God definitively exists, and, like, characters know him. Like the wizards, Saruman, Gandalf, they literally are, like, basically, like, archangels sent from God. Fuck, dude. Okay, wait. Oh, good.
Let's start with a recap.
Thank you, One Hand Wonder. Here's an 11 minute long video about the Sirian ship, which I don't remember what that is, so this should be totally good and normal. This is most recent wacky spirit science video? Okay.
Let's start with a recap of Spirit Science Season 1. We began by first looking at thoughts and telepathy, chakras, as well as different types of energy. We looked at some strange phenomena that suggest that humanity is far older than the mainstream world believes, and opened up the conversation of sacred geometry. This led us through some talks about dimensions and the various wavelengths associated with the spectrum of reality, and how to navigate these realms through spiritual practices like meditation and astral projection. Then, in episodes 11 and 12, we looked at how humanity is undergoing a form of evolution, going through a big change in how we exist fundamentally, and are passing through a very important phase in the evolution of our species. The big idea was that 13,000 years ago, we fell in consciousness and became disconnected from our soul. And ever since then, humanity has been on a journey of remembering who it is, and are today still coming to understand what it means to be a child of God and embody the light of something called Christ consciousness.
What?
And so, now we begin a new chapter of spirit science with a story and a lesson from an unexpected place.
Yeah, Sauron is basically like the servant of one of the minor gods who serve the creator gods.
To begin properly, we must pay a proper debt of gratitude to our friend Drumvalo Melchizedek. A great deal of the wisdom shared in season 1 of Spirit Science was all provided to the world by him in the ancient secret of the flower of life. We owe so much to Drumvalo and his work and these books that he's provided. And I just wanted to take a moment to express that for all of us.
I mean, guys,
Now,
it's a literal
here
cult.
is an
This is a
amazing story.
cult. It's not cult vibes.
Early
It is
on
cult.
his spiritual journey, Drumvalo was visited by 2 angels. These glowing beings appeared to him and
This is like a summary of what he believes runs the universe.
revealed that they were manifestations of his higher self and would be guiding him to different teachers and wisdom. And it was very important that he listened closely to all of the instructions that they gave. Over many years, they guided him, and he met with over 70 different spiritual teachers. But on one particular occasion, they brought him somewhere that he wasn't expecting to go. They told him to go into a quiet room where he wouldn't be disturbed and enter into a meditation. Then they lifted his astral body from his material form and they headed into outer space and eventually passed a spherical membrane of energy that is about 440,000 miles away from the Earth, which is a particular field relative to the life force of our planet in space. Once they passed this membrane, he saw something unbelievable. A huge, motionless vehicle that was about 50 miles long. It could not be detected from Earth due to the technology the beings on board were using. He said that it looked like a big black cigar, perfectly seamless, except that on one end, there was a huge opening pouring out with light. And as they got closer, he was sucked inside and found himself meeting these beings there, both male and female, who were much taller than he was. He learned that they were Sirians from the star Sirius, the closest star to our own, and that there were about 350 of them on the ship. And they all wore white clothing with little gold insignias on their left arms. He sat down with 3 of them who talked to him telepathically for a long time. And then they gave him a tour of the whole ship.
My rear end.
Everything in the ship was white with no other colors. The rooms were seamless and all forms on the ship came out of the floors, walls, and ceilings naturally, as if they were all very organic. He said some forms looked like beautiful futuristic art sculptures, and it was like an art gallery everywhere he went. But what's more interesting, all of these shapes were the technology of the ship. The ship had no moving parts, you see, just these shapes emerging out of the walls and floors and ceilings. These beings were so advanced, they reduced their technology to shape, form, and proportion. And all they had to do was connect with the shapes in their hearts and minds. And through them, they could do anything. This form of technology today we call psychotronics, but it's still considered in the
No, we don't. We don't call it that, actually. This doesn't exist.
mainstream to be a theory which has never been done, at least by us. Drumvalo said that he spent 3 days up in the spaceship, and when he finally returned, his angels began to tell him why they took him there. He at first responded enthusiastically, "Wow, their technology is so cool," and resounded how great it was. But the angels stopped him. "No, you don't understand. That's not the understanding we want you to have." And he asked, "What do you mean?" So the angels told him this. Suppose your body gets cold in this room, and you decide that you're going to go out and make something to heat the room. So you invent a heater and some kind of energy source, whatever you need to heat the room. Then you put the heater in the room, and the heater heats the room, and then you yourself get warm. That seems logical, right? Alas, what the angels revealed was that to do this actually makes us spiritually weaker. Why? Because in doing so, we forget our connection to God. You could have heated the room or your body by your own inner essence, but instead, you gave your power away to an object.
Yeah, using tools. Using tools dishonors God and lowers your spirit energy. Literally return to Monkey. No, you don't light a fire. You just will yourself to be warmer, guys. Duh. Dedoy. You think warm thoughts, you warm yourself up, and then you warm the room up.
The angels projected to Drunvalo that as any civilization makes more and more advanced technology, if that's the choice...
No, guys, you don't just freeze to death. You will your body to be warm. And the heat from your body thereby heats the room. I don't understand what's so hard to understand here.
Choice they make,
just think cozy thoughts.
Separate themselves out further and further from the source of life and actually become weaker spiritually because they become addicted to their technology. They need it in order to survive. In other words, the Sirians were actually spiritually weak, and Drunvalo was instructed not to look at them as a super advanced race, but as people who need spiritual help. The bottom line from his experience, he said, was that the angels wanted him to focus less on technology and concentrate on pure consciousness as a way to remember God. After this, the angels disappeared back into the higher dimensions of his own body of consciousness. He then got up and left his room. While he knew he was up in space for 3 days, he also rationalized that perhaps in worldly time, he was probably gone only a few hours. But when he saw his family and friends, they were completely pale. He asked, "What's wrong?" And they said, "You've been sitting in meditation for 3 days. We were about to call the hospital." Now, this lesson from the angels is something that we can corroborate with a lot of human wisdom. And one of the best places for stories that are deeply relevant here come from Master Paramahansa Yogananda in his book, Autobiography of a Yogi. For instance, at one point, he describes meeting a yogi who was able to levitate his body through deep meditative states.
Sounds legit.
There are masters described who are able to teleport, as well as appear to their students in different cities at the same time through their mastery over their energetic field and their body of consciousness.
Sure.
But Yogananda is very clear to state that it's not about the miracles, but the connection with God, which is reaffirmed over and over throughout this beautiful book. In a very funny story, when he was young, Yogananda met and challenged a yogi he called the Perfume Saint, who through many years of intense devotional meditation manifested the ability to generate any scent with his hands. Harnessing God to make odors? What of it? God makes perfume anyway. Yes, but he fashions frail bottles of petals for fresh use and discard. Can you materialize flowers? Well, yes, but usually I produce perfumes, little friend. Then scent factories will go out of business. I will permit them to keep their trade. My own purpose is to demonstrate the power of God. Sir, is it necessary to prove God? Isn't he performing miracles in everything?
Things that never happened for 500, Alex.
Everywhere? Yes, but we too should manifest some of his infinite creative variety. In the end, the Perfume Saint manifested a most beautiful smell of rose on Yogananda's hand and changed an odorless flower nearby into smelling rich with jasmine. And many years later, Yogananda discovered how this work was done. He said that the different sensory stimuli to which a person reacts, touch, sight, smell, sound, and taste are produced.
I can make anything smell like a fart. Master, how do you achieve such a feat? By controlling my chakras.
By vibratory variations in electrons and protons. The vibrations in turn are regulated by prana, or life force energy, which on a scientific level are known.
I don't think this is actually how any of this works, actually.
As lifetrons, subtle life forces, or finer than atomic energies, intelligently charged with 5 distinctive sensory idea substances. This perfume saint, named Ganta Baba, attuned himself with the pranic force of yogic practices and was able to guide the lifetrons to rearrange their vibratory structure and to objectify the desired result. His perfume and other miracles were actual materializations of mundane vibrations and were not inner sensations hypnotically produced. Now, Autobiography of a Yogi is filled with stories like this, demonstrating the power of God within reality, even greater than any—
Motherfucker, I want you to open a science textbook accepted by any major university in the United States. I want you to point to me any instance of the word lifetron in any of them. I challenge you to an intellectual duel.
Anything technology can achieve. And I want to share more of these stories, but for today's episode, I think in addition to these two stories
Malachi, I've had like a bunch of people show up at like the World Yogi Convention, and like one of them can teleport, another one can duplicate their body and be in two places at once, another one can like literally levitate themselves and fly around, and meanwhile you're the guy who can just like make a smell. I taste colors now, and they all taste like spinal fluid.
We've shared so far, we would be remiss if we didn't actually look at Yeshua here, who is commonly known today as Jesus Christ.
Yep.
If we take the gospel
yeah, just in case any of you were wondering, Jesus Christ is involved.
Counts as, well, gospel, at least to some degree, we might infer that Yeshua also demonstrated, with almighty grace, the same lessons the angels gave to Drimvalo. He showed that through God, one could do anything. Now, some people watching might be thinking, but Jesus was the Son of God. We're not like him. Except that even he himself said, truly, truly, I say to you, whoever believes in me will also do the works that I do, and greater works than these will he do. Yeshua knew the latent power of the human soul and what was possible when our ego and lower self is fully integrated with our higher self and God. But it was just a matter of time, about 2,000 years, for us to really figure all this out. But just figuring it out and understanding it intellectually doesn't necessarily mean that we're ready for it yet. And if we become so attached to our technology and ignore the call of the soul completely, then these stories will remain just that, stories. It's only when one becomes fully integrated through mind, body, and soul that the true nature of Christ consciousness is revealed within, which comes with a very cosmic understanding. Are you ready to go deeper? We'll see you in the next episode.
It smells like lies. Oh my god. Spirit science is such a trip, guys. I'm not ready. None of us are ready. Not a single one of us is even close to ready. And Jesus said, "It is finished." I don't know how it's allowed on YouTube, honestly. Yeah, honestly. I don't know. Have I had an aneurysm? Maybe that's another secret. You just make someone have an aneurysm and they suddenly smell burnt toast, and they're like in wonder of how you summoned a new scent. God. The unending platitudes from this, it just ridiculous. Just ridiculous.